especially in saber, you just get hit in preparation right away. As soon as you take the big step, they hit you. So it's always the little steps when you change direction, always a little step. The only time you take the big one is from the back foot to go forward. So we teach a lot of stepping, step, stepping, step. We're retreating, step. Retreating, push, longer step. Push, longer step. Push, longer step. Changing distance, changing direction. The other thing that's a lot is the half step, and Peter started getting into that with the retreats. So the half step, we do a lot of half retreats or half advances. And the half retreat in saber, we're basically retreating, pushing, pushing, half retreat. Okay? So it's pushing, pushing, half retreat. So it looks like you're going back, your body moves a little bit, there is a weight shift, but from there now you can decide, you do the half retreat and then another retreat. So it's half, I gotta keep going back, or half, I can go forward. So there's the change. And Mary Zagunis is like the best at this in the world, of doing this step to step, half and going forward, changing her direction with the half step back. So it's something to really work on in your footwork a lot. And it really helps the dancers. The slow step. So in your training lesson, it's really great to use the slow step. Because I think Forrester did some of it in the lesson with Peter. Where the front foot is moving slowly to see what's happening. That's where the patinado comes in. 1, 2, right? Making line moves. So the slow step from here. Now the decision is, so I'm pushed, I take my slow step, I decide, do I go forward or do I go back? Do I make my disengages? Do I take the plate? What do I do from here? So during that slow step time is when your student determines, whoops, go back, parry. Slow step, whoa, I can go forward. The slow step is up. So you can't move the back foot when they take the slow step. It's not an advance, because that's the whole tempo. It's a half a tempo. And in saber we teach also doing half step and then lunge. Because if someone's doing an advanced lunge, and I do a half step lunge, so here, come on for a second. So he does, let's say, we're doing simultaneous attacks. He's going to do advanced lunge. So you do advanced lunge. Okay, so that's his time. So we're going to do it again. Who went faster? Him or me? Who came out quicker? I did. Because I didn't move my back foot. I don't have to because we're closing distance. So in saber especially, it steals the time. The referee sees that as an attack first. So watch one more time. Ready, fence. Okay? See the difference? Versus he's still in his advanced mode. And I'm already lunging. Because I'm doing one. He thinks I'm doing advanced lunge. Because I did the first part, but I didn't. So it steals the time, it locks him out a lot. You usually get one light when you do it, which is really good because then the referee can't say, oh, attack failed. On the lunge, there's many kinds of lunges. We have listed 4 or 5 in the book. And so I'll just go over a couple. So there's the standard just extension lunge. Right? Then there's the start the lunge and accelerate the hand. And that's probably one of the most common ones used in saber. Because you don't want to put the blade out so early because you get hit in the hand. And yet this might be pretty effective too. So, because if I put the blade out, it's either going to get beat or it'll hit me going away. So, I start and then I accelerate. So it's an accelerating lunge. So slow start, fast hand. That's probably the most commonly used and the most effective. Right? Slow start, fast hand. Versus just one speed lunge.
Do you begin with the hand even though it's slow?
Yeah, you kind of have to start because we want the referee to see your hands start moving. So it's kind of almost at the highest level is together and then accelerate. Why'd you back in the air? Oh, well, because I'm going to flesh. Well, you can't flesh anymore, you know. That's the way I was thinking. You say, oh, you can't do that in saber. So you have to keep your foot on the ground. So it's one foot's always on the ground. One foot's right by the ground, so you can put it down and change. You wouldn't have your foot in there like that. It just wouldn't be correct.
But what would be close to that would be the jump back route.
Yeah, jump back, boom.
But the feet
both feet landed on the jump back. So if I'm retrieving, and I jump back parry, that's it. Both feet are down. Now I can change direction and take off. Because after they miss, or after you parry, you have to go after them right away. If you don't, they've reset, and now they're ready for you. So you want to get them, as Peter was saying, as you're coming back on guard, it's the most vulnerable time, as you're stretched out all the way, all that stuff, right? So now they missed, now they're really vulnerable, they're in the stretched mode, in that position. Now I've got to get them. If I go too fast, they'll stay there and hit me on the preparation. If I go too slow, they're gone. So if my foot's in the air, I'm kind of like, where am I going? Let's check. And saber very often used in the higher levels, so it's a sliding step, and back foot again is on the ground, ready to take off in a lunge, or advance check, double retreat, push back, changing direction, okay? So advance check is like the slow step. Same thing, advance check, jump that parry, slow step, jump that parry. Slow step is a little easier than advance check. But if you're doing a training lesson, you can actually have one or two options and then start saying, now do it with advanced check. Now do it with a slow step. Having them change their footwork would be a good way